Okay, this is the digitally recorded statement of Timothy Rose, reference log number 1081686. This interview is being conducted at the offices of the Independent Police Review Authority located at 1615 West Chicago Avenue on the 4th floor. My name is Investigator Mark Addington. That's MarkAddington. My star number is 177. Also here today is Investigator Nufio. Investigator Nufio, if you could introduce yourself, please.
Investigator Oscar Nufio, Nufio, star number 142.
Okay, today's date is the 3rd of August, 2016. The current time is now 17:51. Mr. Rose, could you please state and spell your full name for me?
Timothy Rhodes, TimothyRhoads.
Okay. And Mr. Rose, have you signed the consent form to give me permission to record what you're going to tell me today?
Yes, sir.
And are you giving me this statement of your own free will?
Yes, sir.
And prior to starting our interview today, did you provide our office with a driver's license or identification?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And do you swear and affirm the statement that you're about to give us in this matter is true and correct?
To the best of my abilities.
Okay, sir. And can you give me your current home address?
3753 North Francisco Avenue, Chicago, Illinois, 60618.
Okay. Is that a single family home or apartment?
Yes, single family home.
And how long have you lived at that current address?
4 years.
Okay. And what is your what is a good contact number for you?
312-869-4206.
Is that a cell phone?
4 o'clock p.m.
Okay, after 4.
That's a cell phone, yes.
Okay. Is there any other contact number for you?
No.
Okay. And sir, how old are you and what is your date of birth?
39, and my birthday was 4/22/77.
Okay. And do you have an email address you'd like to provide us?
Sure. SETH@SOLARBLU.net.
Okay. And Mr. Rose, if we can't get a hold of you, is there another person we can contact to reach you?
Unsure of at this time.
Okay, that's fine. And going back to the incident that you filed a complaint about, looks like it occurred on the 22nd of July 2016 at approximately 9 o'clock in the evening. Is that correct?
7 to 1 a.m.
7 to 1 a.m. Okay. And it looks like this occurred near the close to your residence or at your residence, 3753 North Francisco Avenue?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And tell me what led up to your interaction with the police that day?
Well, I was told by Internal Affairs or ipra to call this particular number for my battery complaint. I called the the number on the form that it told me to call, that he circled, and I was told that the officer that was reassigned to after 3 months of not being assigned would be there at 4:30. I called at 4:30, or I called at 7 o'clock to give the guy time to get into his shift, get acclimated, and I called him, and he was immediately hostile.
Okay. And when you said somebody contacted you from either Internal Affairs or IPRA, did the person identify themselves?
I'm not sure. There's a lot of things going on, but his name was Detective Durant.
Okay, Durant. Okay. And so you had this conversation with them, and I guess essentially they weren't giving you the information that you were requesting. What led to what happened when the police interacted with you? Did they come to your residence?
Well, the interaction over the phone was he said, if I have you in my custody, I have the right to beat the shit out of you. What do you call that? And I said, I call that excessive force, but I called you about my battery complaint. And he's like, well, I have video of you flailing around. And I said, well, if you look at the video, you'll see every move that I made was a defensive move, which I have a right. Why haven't you arrested this guy? He's like, I don't come and tell you how to do your job, and are you threatening me? I'm coming over to your house. You better be at your fucking house when I get there. And then he showed up on my doorstep.
Okay. And is this Durant, or is this another?
This is James Gonzalez.
Okay, James Gonzalez. And is he a Chicago police employee?
He's a detective.
Okay.
And he was assigned to my case.
Okay.
So I was calling him about my case.
Okay.
Or my complaint.
And you know his name because he identified himself to you?
Because I have his name on my new charges.
Okay. Do you know a star number by chance?
No.
Okay, that's fine. And so did he come to your house, or did he send other patrol officers?
To come. He said, "Are you threatening me?" And he started talking to his coworkers while I was on the phone. I was dead silent. I didn't say nothing else to him. And he hung up on me, and then he brought his cronies to my house and started yelling in my front yard and banging on my door. And I'm
let me stop you real quick.
Coming out.
When you say cronies, what do you mean by that?
Well, him and his 4 other officers.
And when you say him and his 4 other officers, were they uniformed officers?
They were uniformed officers. They're all wearing white shirts, and then 2 later showed up wearing blue shirts.
Okay.
So,
and was he in plain clothes? Was he there?
He
Gonzalez?
was in plain clothes. Yes.
He was there also.
Yes.
Okay, so they show up at your house.
Yes.
And what happens next?
Well, he said, put your hands behind your back. You're under arrest. And I said, well, you don't have a right to arrest me because I didn't do anything. All I'm trying to do is talk to you about my complaint, and you're being hostile with me. He said, oh, you were threatening me. And I said, well, I doubt you have that on tape because it didn't happen. He's like, well, I'm taking you down anyway for threatening me and harassing me over the phone. I said, I'm not harassing you if I'm calling you and asking you to do your job, which is to respond to my complaint. And you got video, and you're withholding evidence. You didn't give me the video, but you have a video. And he's like, well, I'm the judge and the jury and stuff like that. And he put the handcuffs on me as tight as they would go, and it cut off my circulation. And then while I'm standing there, facing south, the car is facing south, I'm facing south, he's facing south. The other officers are talking to my roommate about private HIPAA violated information that they should have no reason to have information to. So they're asking him all these private questions. Never read me my Miranda rights. And why he has me there while the cops are talking, he's got 4 fingers on my ass.
Okay, when you say 4 fingers,
describe
how he's touching
4
you.
fingers of his right hand on the right butt cheek of my butt, while he has one hand on my handcuffs. And I'm telling these officers, do you see this? This guy is further harassing me. And then he shoves me into the car and slams the door before anybody could talk to me.
Okay.
The windows rolled up. It's 100 degrees out. And I'm yelling and I'm yelling. I'm like, this is false imprisonment. This is false imprisonment. You are harassing me. And then they're like, shut up. And then he buckled me in. And as he buckles me in, he smothers me with his whole front of his body. And his face is all in my face, breathing hard, like... very uncomfortable.
Okay.
So he buckles me in, he slams the door, and then I'm yelling like, I don't want to be around this cop. Please don't let him take me to the station. He's already harassed me. You need to separate me. So they call another police car. The police car comes, and then the officer's like, get out of the car. And I'm like, can't get out of the car because I'm buckled in. And he's like, don't be a smartass. I'm like, I'm not being a smartass. These are the facts. You're not paying attention.
Okay.
So they put me in the car. They started smarting off to me some more. I said nothing to them. They took me to the 19th district and held me in a cell for 5 hours.
Okay. Now let's go back to the physical contact.
Yes.
When his hand was on your buttocks, you were standing outside the car at that time?
I was.
Okay. Was he searching you, or
no.
he just had his hand?
They had already
on?
searched me. I had already put cuffs on me. He just had his left hand on my cuffs and the right hand on my ass.
Okay. And when he cuffed you, was it Detective Gonzalez that handcuffed you?
Yes, as tight as possible.
And at any time, did you complain to him about the cuffs or any officer?
I was trying not to interact with him at all.
Okay. Did you complain to any other officer about that?
I did. I told them my cuffs are too tight. And when they took me to the station, the officer witnessed that my hand was white and he took my cuffs off.
Okay. Now, you said when Gonzalez was out there...
illegally at my house.
At your house, did he use any profanity or anything?
He used it on the phone.
On the phone with you? Okay.
Yeah, he said, I'm fucking coming to your house. You better be there when I get there.
Okay. And you said there was additional officers there. Let's talk about Gonzalez first. Can you describe him to me? What he looks like?
Unhappy, overweight.
Okay. Is he a Hispanic male, white male?
Yes, Hispanic.
About how tall?
About 5'9", about 190 or maybe 225 pounds.
Okay. And the other, do you have is there any allegations or any complaints against the other officers that were there that were present during that time?
They were very respectful. They looked a little baffled and a little confused, and they did their job and their civil duty correctly.
Okay. And Other than your interaction with Detective Gonzalez with your battery report, have you ever had any contact with him prior to?
Not with him, but every time I ask for help from the Chicago Police Department, I'm not getting it.
Okay. All right, I understand. Were there any witnesses that were there? Because I think you said your roommate?
My roommate was standing in front of the building, and he was talking to the police officers, and I asked him, I'm like, did you hear them read me my rights? And he said, I didn't hear them read your rights. And I'm like, they didn't read me my rights. And a lot of people are thinking that you don't have to read your rights, but my understanding, as soon as you place the cuffs on me, you are required to read me the rights before you start asking me questions.
Okay. Did your roommate see them?
He didn't see that because the cop was standing in a position. There were 2 cops facing my roommate, and then there was me and Gonzalez like this, and then there was 3 cops behind me, so nobody saw anything unless you got a dash cam.
What about the touching of your buttocks?
That's when.
So he wasn't able to see that.
Yeah, it was
either.
in a very conspicuous.
Okay, I understand. And I know we talked about this before we began the recording, and you kind of mentioned it. What injuries did you suffer?
My hand hurt. My self-esteem is something else, and now I have to show up in front of a court case. That's unfair.
And which wrist? Was it both wrists, or was it a
Well, it was
particular?
particularly this wrist. So it was
That's
my right
gonna be
hand.
your right wrist. Okay. And you did not receive medical treatment for it, correct?
No, and the reason why it was my right wrist is because when they put me in the pen, they took off my left one. Mm-hmm. My left one was still, as tight as it will go, but they let one hand free, and I'm like, can you please undo this one click because this is turning white? Mm-hmm. And he's like, let me just let you out altogether, but it wasn't Gonzalez, it was another officer.
Sure, I understand. If you were shown a picture of Officer or Detective Gonzalez, would you be able to identify him?
Yes.
Okay.
I wouldn't be able to identify any of the other officers.
Sure. Well, if they're not accused and you have no allegations against them, we would try to identify them as witnesses, possible witnesses, but we would...
Am I going to have to issue a FOIA request?
Well, it depends on what you're looking for, and we'll discuss that after we
all
get the
audio
interview.
and all video of every cop available at the scene.
Well, that's something you'd have to take up with Chicago Police Department.
Yeah, that's working very well for me.
Wow. That's a different story, and I can understand what you're
So I'm going to have a federal judge sign off on that?
I don't know, sir. I don't know the answer to that. Can you tell me, at that time, so this happened when they came out and arrested you, what time was that?
Around 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. So what was the weather like at that time?
A beautiful Friday night.
Clear? Was the sun still out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it didn't rain that night. It rained like the next day. So I was thanking myself that I didn't have to walk home in the rain.
Okay. And this is, I guess, is an obvious question because it's happened at your residence. So you're familiar with the area where this took place.
Yes.
I mean, this is your residence.
Yes.
Did anyone else get arrested during this incident?
No.
Okay. And do you know if there's any video, audio of like if it happened outside your apartment complex?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. Do you know if there's any pod video? Do you know what a pod video is?
No.
It's the videos, if you see like the blue lights flashing on the poles.
No.
Do you have any out
But in
area?
the future, I reserve the rights to record my interactions.
Well, we will check that and see if there's any there.
There's none in my neighborhood.
Okay.
It's usually a safe neighborhood.
Okay. Investigator Newfield, is there any questions you'd like to ask?
How old would you say the detective was, James Gonzalez?
Well, at this time, I would think he's a little senile, so he must be a little over 50.
Okay. And you mentioned that his chest, was it? Chest?
Yeah,
bump?
he was out of shape.
No, I'm saying he rubbed it or he bumped it?
No, he rubbed his whole front of his body against the side of my body like this.
What side of your body?
Well, I'm sitting here,
Mm-hmm.
so he put his body all up against the front of my body with the front of his body and had his face all up in my face and didn't even buy me dinner or a movie.
Okay. And then when he grabbed your butt,
Yes.
you say your right cheek,
Mm-hmm.
was that
Well, he had
like
his hand linger on my...
on the outer, on your clothing?
Yes.
Okay. But he didn't stick his hand in?
No.
Okay. All right. And where was everybody else when that was going on?
Well,
where were the
that's
where
what
were
we're
the other
saying.
officers?
This is already sneaky because I'm towards the car is here. Here's me. Here's the officer. Here's the other officers facing this way. And here's more officers looking, wherever they're looking, having a side conversation of their own, not paying attention to anything. They didn't even know I was seatbelt. So.
I mean, were they standing in the area?
They were standing, in proximity.
With a view?
But they couldn't see it because of the way he was blocking the view from everybody.
Okay.
So I had a car, and I had him, and then I had 2 more officers. You couldn't see anything.
And
but if you had a dash cam, that would be very interesting.
What is your roommate's first and last name?
James Clark.
James Clark. What's his phone number?
I have it on my phone.
Can you provide?
You can turn it on. Go ahead and turn it on.
He doesn't want to be involved in this.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. In disregard, then we won't contact him if he doesn't.
And I can really fight my own battles.
Okay. That's fine. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay. All right.
I do have one.
Okay, go ahead.
That's right. What did they charge you with?
Harassment for calling on my complaint.
Okay. And do you have the number to the number you called when you
Yes.
supposedly harassed this
Yes,
officer?
it's the number on the back of the form that says, please call here to find the status of your complaint.
You can go ahead and turn on your phone if you want to give us that number. So.
Actually, I might not have it on here.
That's okay.
It's the Belmont and Western number.
Okay.
Okay.
You have that form that you're mentioning? There it says.
Well, I've given it to a federal judge. No, I wouldn't be able to tell you which one it is.
If it's at Belmont
Very
West, we'll
busy
be able to
person.
find it
Okay.
out.
Sorry, and you mentioned that he alleged
That I was harassing
that you
him
were harassing him
because I was asking him to do his job.
and that he threatened him. Did he say what the threat
He
was?
said that I threatened him.
What was the threat according to him?
We were having a conversation, and he said to me, "If I have you in custody, I have the right to beat your ass. What do you call that?" And I said, "I call that excessive force." I said, "But if I'm at a bar and someone punches you in the face for your birthday, what do you call that?" And he's like, "Are you threatening me?" I'm like, "No, you're the whole conversation was antagonistic. He came to my house, he was antagonizing me.
Okay.
I've already been a victim. You got to victimize me some more?"
Yeah. Well, who said that about the bar thing? You did?
No, he said that.
No, but he said that if he has you in custody.
He said, "If I have you in custody, I have the right to beat your ass. What do you call that?" And I said, "Excessive force. I'm already in cuffs."
And who said if I see you if you're at a bar and you get punched on your birthday?
Right, I said that.
Okay.
I said, "If you're at a bar and you get punched for your birthday, what do you call that?" And he said, "Well, they have a right to remove you," and I have it all on tape. But I said, "Sir."
But he asked you, "Are you threatening me?"
Yeah, he said,
And
"Are
what
you
did say
threatening
in
me?"
response?
I said nothing.
You
I stopped talking.
You didn't say yes or no.
I stopped talking.
Okay.
So, and then he came to my house.
Gotcha. How long after that conversation did he come to your house?
About an hour.
An hour later?
Just long enough to talk somebody into it.
Okay, gotcha. No, that's it.
And just one question I have is, how many phone conversations did you guys have? Was that the only one?
I had three.
Three.
He hung up on me.
In the same day? Three?
Yes.
In the same day?
Because I came home to take care of this issue. It's been unresolved since April. Nobody's taken anything I say seriously. Like, I understand that it's a slow process, but it took 3 months to even assign it to somebody, and then that person didn't even have the dignity or respect to spell my name right.
Okay. Well, I apologize for spelling your
No,
name
yours
wrong.
is fine. Like, you knew what you're doing, but you didn't have me in a cell for 7 hours where you had my ID and all my information.
Sure. I understand.
So,
I did actually. The conversation so you called 3 times of that day
yes.
to follow up on your case report again for battery.
About my complaint.
Battery, correct?
Yes, he said,
Okay.
"I have you on video." Click. I'm like, okay, I'm not done with my conversation.
Oh, so he hung up on you. He said, "I have you on
He
video."
hung up on me. Yes,
You called back again.
And I called back and I said, "Well, I don't understand the process. I filed a complaint. I want to talk to you about the complaint." He's like, "Well, they had a right to kick you out of the bar," and then he started talking about the excessive force, and then I think that was only 2 calls because I called earlier to find out when he was working.
Okay.
So technically, I called the place a couple times to find out when he was working.
Sure. And did he tell you what the outcome of that report was? That
He said, "I'm the
investigation?
judge and the jury. I'm not gonna."
But did he say whether? Sorry, did he say whether that case? Was
He didn't
already
say anything
closed?
about that case until he started a new case. So while I'm in the holding cell, he's processing all his paperwork, and then I'm like, okay, well, you got your battery charged, you got what you wanted, you used the system the way you wanted to use the system today. Now, where's my complaint? He's like, oh, your complaint is being dismissed. I'm like, okay. He's like, and then I'm in the cell while they're putting me in the cell. I'm downstairs in this gate while a juvenile goes by, and as the juvenile goes by, he's like, I'm the judge and the jury. I decide who gets justice in this town. And I said, well, sorry, dude, I didn't vote for you.
Okay.
Okay. Well, Mr. Rhodes, is this a true and accurate account of what occurred?
Yes, sir.
To the best of your knowledge?
To the best of my knowledge.
Okay. All right. Well, this now concludes the digitally recorded statement of Timothy Rhodes regarding log number 1081686. The time is now 18:11, and on the 3rd of August, 2016.